Oh my god. Here we go. I mean, if you hear my computer as if it's about to fly, I think that's what it's trying to do. But I can't wait for it to cool down, so stick with me. Hello everybody, welcome back to this YouTube channel. My name is Julia, and in today's clip, I'm just gonna chat you through my top 5 foundations. All of them from the drugstore. Not bad. I actually don't own anything in terms of foundation from the high-end range. And I just realized that by looking at the pile. Anyway, let's start. So my first one is actually not technically a foundation, but I do use it as a foundation. So this is Suntouchable Wow Glow SPF 30 sunscreen from E.L.F. Skin. This is in shade Sunbeam. I think this is the only shade. So essentially, this is not even open because I have a mini size in my everyday makeup bag. So let me grab that for you so you can actually see how goldeny and nice the shade is, hence why it really does work as a skin tint. So you have the tiny guy, look at the size. I initially bought this one because it's a dupe for the Super Goop one, and I hated that one, so I was like, let me see if this is better, because Abby Young did say that it's much better, at least in her opinion. And look at that, it's just such a nice creamy formulation. It really blends into the skin super flawlessly. It gives a nice shine and radiance to the skin, and I just love it. Right, so that's number 1. Then we are moving into L'Oreal True Match Serum. This is not in my shade. This is 223 Light. I use 1 to 2 or 0.5 to 1 or something like that. The first shade. This is, I think, the second shade, and I did get this one through work, but unfortunately this is not my shade. I still keep it because sometimes I do have friends who are coming over and this is their shade. It did happen one time when I actually did someone's wedding makeup, and I was shocked to death that this is actually her shade. She's not as pale as myself, even though she kind of seemed she's as pale as myself anyway. But this one, for the purpose of the color, I am not gonna swatch it. Or should I? You know what, I'm gonna show you the texture actually. So the texture is very liquidy, as you can see, and I'm just gonna put a tiny bit here. You can definitely see the shade is not my shade, but this is such a like creamy, nice formula. It blends beautifully within the skin, very natural, very lightweight. It definitely is like a tint, and I just love it. That's the main reason why I'm not buying it into my own shade, because I have other foundations and I feel like I'm not gonna use them ever unless I don't have this into my collection. I did use an entire bottle of my own shade, which says a lot, because yeah, I tend to buy makeup. Not as much anymore, but I used to. And there was a specific time when I had a couple of foundations that I actually decluttered them. And I decluttered them because I bought this one in my shade and I used the bottle because that was the only one that I loved. Which made me realize I should declutter the stuff that I don't like, whether I should gift it to my friends who are matching the shade, or if they expire, into the bin they go. But next, into the skin tint family, this is again through work. I had to use it into a video. This is the Maybelline Superstay C+ Vitamin Skin Tint in shade 02, and this is actually a perfect match. Again, this is very similar to the True Match Nude Plumping Tinted Serum. I do find them quite similarly in terms of texture, and obviously if you did see them on TikTok, both of them have a dropper. So I'm just gonna put a tiny bit here so you can see. I do wear this one on today, and you can definitely see how glowy it is. But yeah, this is how it looks like. And again, I feel you can tell the texture is very similar to the L'Oreal one. Both of them have some shimmer flecks into it, so it gives that glow. It's definitely a version of the E.L.F. skin tint, but with more coverage, but not very different from one another, I would say. So yeah. And should I add that this is the general top tier of my foundations? Like, this would be the most used out of them all, quick on the go, and then these ones are in line. Then we have the Bourjois Healthy Mix Fond de Teint foundation, anti-fatigue foundation. It has vitamin C, E, and B5. I don't know how purposefully those ingredients are, but nevertheless, this is more high coverage than the ones that I showed so far. But I do love it. It feels really nice onto the skin. Again, I got this one through work. I am shocked, actually. All of them came through work. But no, because like this one I did buy initially with my own money. It's just a wrong shade came through work. While with this one as well, I had it ages ago. I forgot how I felt about it. And then Bourjois is exclusively at the retailer that I'm working with as a client, and I got this one as a gift. So yeah, I used this one before. Bourjois was a massive brand in terms of my mom's choice because they are really affordable, and even by swatching it, this is much of a thicker consistency compared to the other three, hence why the full coverageness compared to that one. But again, this is very luminous, and I do like a luminous foundation because I do have normal skin, which I should have mentioned in the beginning, so I'm so sorry about it. Last but certainly not least, this is a recent discovery. This was sent in PR. So the other ones, if you're confused, I have a full-time job as a content manager and I do get products, but brands have no clue who the hell I am, basically, except the massive retailer that we work with, and they are our client. And this one was directly gifted to me. Not Max Factor, but an agency, a PR agency that works with different various brands, including Max Factor this time. And they did kindly send me this one, and beyond my shock, I thought this is gonna be something that I would hate. It sounds really thick. It's called Facefinity All Day Flawless Airbrush Finish, and it's apparently a primer, concealer, and foundation. And this is in shade N32 Light Beige. I did not mention the shade for this one. This is in shade Light Ivory. So this is Light Ivory, and this is in N32 Light Beige. Very confusing with the names, isn't it? But yeah, I was really shocked that I did enjoy this one. I did wear it on a heat wave day, and beyond my surprise, my skin felt like it can breathe. And I was like, wow, because I also used it as a concealer and it works. It's just, it is a foundation that surpassed my expectations, and this is how it looks like. You can definitely see already, it is very thick. And actually today, I seen people think this is a dupe for the double wear from Estée Lauder, and I had that foundation before. Oh my god, by smudging it onto my hand, it is so much thicker than the Bourjois one. So I feel this is the most full coverage foundation at this very stage that I have into my collection. Again, I used to own the double wear from Estée Lauder. I don't know how to pronounce it. And I've seen today that people think this is a dupe for that one. And you know what? I do see it. I used to love that foundation. It is incredible. It is breathable. It is full coverage. It sustains all the heat in this world, because I did wear it, the double wear, on wedding day in Romania, and it's no joke, in the summertime. It was the summertime. And that was the same experience with this one on the heat wave, and I see it. I think it's a dupe. I really do think it's a dupe. I don't have the Estée Lauder anymore in my collection because sadly I threw a a half full bottle after it kind of expired, but it wasn't any difference, to be honest, because it did break me out from the first day that I used it. That foundation always did break me out. My pores were clogged. Anyway, it would break me out massively, and I tried it and I tried it and I tried it and I tried it, and breaking me out every time. This one, however, it did not. So far, it did not, and I'm like, because I loved double wear. I would recommend it to you as long as you take a sample and you try it yourself and you know it doesn't break you out. I wouldn't wear it every day though, but for occasions or like parties or in the weekend time when you have a bit more time to kind of like work with a thicker consistency, yeah, it's a perfect foundation nevertheless. But you could try the dupe, I guess. This is much thicker when you get it out from the tube rather than the double wear. However, at the end of it all, from what I remember, because I used half of that bottle, listen, I did try my best, okay? And I remember the finish was exactly the same, the feeling was exactly the same, and obviously I don't own this foundation for as long as I do own the others, and it says a lot that I do put it in my top 5. I do have other foundations that are more on the thicker side, but I wouldn't compare them so far to the Max Factor one. This really did impress me. So this is my top 5 foundations, apparently of drugstore. I'm gonna continue the series with concealers, highlighters, and I think with highlighters, blushes, and contour, I will do them by powder and liquids. Cause you know what? I'm in my liquid, blush, highlighter, contour era, bronzer. I just love it. But we are moving into the winter time, so I think I'm gonna jump into the powders again. I already have in mind my favorites that I would always go for, so I feel like it would be a fair shot to do them separately, as in like liquid blushes and powder blushes and so on and so forth. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and it was by any means useful and helpful, and let me know in the comments if you have by any means any questions whatsoever in terms of these foundations. But these are the ones that work for me and for my skin type. Again, normal with tendencies to dry, but very rare. Like, I wouldn't call it dry unless it's like unhydrated, which it would be my fault for not putting enough moisturizer. But yeah, that's about it. Bye.